remember the last time there was a Friday afternoon game here at Yankee Stadium. A big crowd expected here in the Bronx for the first game of a 4-game set between the Yankees and the Toronto Blue Jays. So A.J. Burnett is taking his warm-up tosses, and we're going to take a look at the Blue Jays starting lineup. Blue Jays coming a game over 500. They load up their shortstop, Marco Scutaro. Aaron Hill at second base will bat second. Batting third, the DH, Adam Lynn. Big numbers his last 15 games. Scott Rowland has a 19-game hitting streak. The third baseman cleans up. Batting fifth and playing first base, Lyle Overbay. They've dropped Vernon Wells to sixth in the lineup. The center fielder hits ahead of Alex Rios in right, and he's batting seventh. David DeLucci, former Yankee, he'll be in left field. He's going to bat eighth and batting ninth and catching Raul Chavez.
Here's A.J. Burnett on the season, 15 starts, 6-4, 3.93 ERA, 94 innings pitched, and 92 strikeouts. Take a look at the Jeep pitcher scout report. He's rolling. Last 3 starts, an 0.44 ERA, just 10 hits allowed in 20 1/3 innings. And a potpourri, Michael, potpourri. This guy's all over the top 10 list. He's got everything. He's fourth in Ks per 9 inning, 8.8. First in wild pitches. He's got 9 wild pitches, 6 hit batters, is 5th in the league. I mean, you look across the top 10 list, and this guy's got numbers across the board. And tough on lefties, 3rd in the league. 209 with 6 home runs, 40 for 191 against A.J. Burnett, left-handed hitters.
Burnett's ready, Scutaro's ready. Let's do it. And the first pitch is high, 1-0. Scutaro has taken the shortstop job, made it his own. 53 walks. This team will take walks. 53 walks leads the American League. The 1-0. Foul back. Now, the last time there was a Friday afternoon game here, it was opening day. But it was the day after opening day. So it's hard to remember one in the middle of the year, but that's exactly the case right now. IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. The 1-1. Bunted foul. David, can you remember 4 straight day games in a row?
Honestly, I can, especially beginning on a Friday with a Friday day game. Usually we were used to Wednesday day games, kind of the businessman special that you'd see around the league 10, 15 years ago. But certainly a little unusual. I love day games. Special things happen at Yankee Stadium on day games, and I can certainly attest to that.
That's when you pitched your perfect game. Day game, Yogi Berra day. And the 1-2. Strike 3, Scutaro, down looking. Let's take a look at the Yankee defense behind A.J. Burnett, brought to you by our good friends at Home Depot. Damon Gardner and Swisher, so Gardner gets to start in center. That's left to right. In the infield, Rodriguez, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira made his first error last night since August 19th of last season. Francisco Cervelli behind the plate. Burnett is on the mound. Here's Aaron Hill. Swing and a miss, and he leads the American League with 104 hits. 19 home runs as well from the second base spot. He's put together some season. Popped up and out of play.
Oh, Aaron Hill, maybe an all-star game. I don't know with his numbers, Michael. I think you can make a strong case. I know Cito Gaston, the Toronto Blue Jays manager, has talked about the push for this guy hitting the all-star game, and I know he's cooled a little bit as of late. I think he was hitting 236 in June, although he still had 7 home runs and a power surge this year. 19 home runs, a career high. 19 and 56 RBIs. I mean, when you're hitting 301 with 19 home runs and 56 RBIs, that looks like it should be on an all-star roster.
The only problem is there's so many good second basemen in the American League. They're going to have a tough call. You've got Kinsler, you've got Cano, you've got Pedroia, you've got Hill, Brian Roberts. The 1-2. Missed outside. Talked to their bench coach, Blue Jays bench coach Brian Butterfield, and I said, what's the deal with Hill and Lind? He said, you know what? They're just really good players, and their time has come. It's not like they made any great adjustments to change their game. They're both healthy, and this is what they're supposed to be doing. There's Brian. Came out of the Yankee system. Just missed outside. And you can see both teams wearing the red hats in honor of the July 4th weekend. They'll be wearing them all weekend. Pretty sharp, the NY, and Stars and stripes, red, white, and blue. And the 3-2 way outside. And Aaron Hill walks. Let's look at the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. 74 degrees, humidity 65%, not much wind, and the forecast, of course, is for scattered thunderstorms.
See, A.J. Burnett came into this game with 47 walks, which is the most in the American League so far. His counterpart today, Brian Talent, is second with 45 walks. But A.J. can offset that with strikeouts. He's 8.8 strikeouts per 9 innings.
Count 1-0 to Lind. Lind is 6 for his last 12. A.J. Burnett will walk people. That was his 47th walk, so we have two guys that will walk people. Talent has 45. Is that a sign of bad command, Dave, or his pitches just move a lot?
I think he had a tough stretch there where he had some command problems. When he's been going well over the last 3 starts, he's really dominated, and his walks have been down. And you can see he generates a lot of movement.
John Hirschbeck's behind the plate. He is a generous home plate umpire. Wally Bell's at first, Marty Foster at second, Chad Fairchild is over at third. Runner goes. Fouled away. That's a little strange. This team built by J.P. Ricciardi, the GM. But when he got here, he was a disciple of Billy Beane. And he was a Moneyball guy. They didn't run, they didn't bunt. But Cito Gaston's not a Moneyball guy. So he's got a manager who really doesn't subscribe to the same baseball theories as he does.
Yeah, Cito Gaston, the great manager back in the early 90s when the Blue Jays won back-to-back World Series titles, and was brought actually back down on the field by the owner, almost bypassing J.P. Ricciardi in terms of the decision-making.
Blue Jays manager from 89 to 97, and last year to now. He won championships in 92 and 93, and David was on one of those teams. And this is the last out of one of those championships against the Braves.
Joe Carter playing first base. And that was 93 there. Joe Carter with the big home run off of Mitch Williams to go back-to-back. A walk-off home run to win the World Series.
The 2-2. Swung on and missed. Overpowers Lind with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. 2 away.
A.J. Burnett came into this game averaging about 94 miles an hour on his 4-seam fastball for the year. This one's at 96. He's shown a little extra life in this first inning. You see that ball's in the glove. For A.J. Burnett, a little extra on his fastball here in the first inning.
Well, here's Scott Rowland. There's Doc Holliday, who pitch tomorrow against Chimney One. And the pitch inside to Rowland. Rowland has a 19-game hitting streak. Just been on fire. Almost like a renaissance here. He's been hurt so much and always been a really good player. Started with the Phillies, went to the Cardinals, and now here with Toronto. That one is driven out to right field. Nick Swisher is there. And he'll put it away for the final out of the first inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. It's the Blue Jays nothing. And the New York Yankees coming to bat against Brian Talent. benching Francisco Cervelli. And Brett Gardner back in the lineup. He'll be the center fielder. He'll bat 9.
The numbers on Brian Talent: 19 games, actually 15 starts. He started out in the bullpen this year. 5-5, 4.47 ERA, 94 and 2/3 innings, and 45 walks. Here's the Jeep Pitcher Scouting Report. Brian Talent was actually drafted by the Yankees in the 13th round of 1997. Chose to go to Louisiana State University rather than sign with the Yankees. 11 for 15. Actually, in 11 of his 15 starts, he's given up 3 runs or less. And watch out for the free passes. He's second in the league, as we mentioned in the first inning. 45 walks, second in the American League.
And the pitch to Jeter is a strike. That one is lined into right field. It is caught by Rios on the way. Let's take a look at the Home Depot Blue Jays defensive alignment. DeLucci in left, Wells in center, and Rios in right. In the infield, Roland, Scudero, Hill, and Overbay. Overbay, outstanding first baseman. Chavez behind the plate. Talent is on the mound. This is a sharp fielding team, just 29 errors, the fewest in the American League. Out of place umpires, out of position. Here's Johnny Damon. Can you imagine those guys actually coming to the game with masks on and full umpire gear? And they were in Toronto earlier in the year. Some pretty good seats they have. Weak hack there by Damon.
They got a traveling road show now, Michael. They're taking their act on the road. They are on every pitch. They are umpiring the game.
Love to sit behind them. So they call strikes. The 1-1. Count 2-1. Ominous clouds overhead here at the stadium, moving from the third base grandstand to the first base side. The lights will probably come on in the second inning. 2-1. Fouled away. Oh my goodness. And the 2-2. Aaron Hill gobbles it up in the breadbasket. 2 away. Brian Talent in the past used to have mutton chops, so he's got rid of them. Those are always a little bit of an odd look.
Almost take that shot right there and put it right into circa 1974. It's almost the same look, Michael, right there. Pitching for the Cleveland Indians. Back in the mistake by the lake.
And the pitch to Teixeira is a strike.
Mistake by the lake, obviously referring to the old Cleveland ballpark.
The 0-1. Teixeira seems a tick slow lately. Maybe he's starting to fatigue a bit. 5 hits in his last 19 at-bats. He's at 274. He made an error last night. Misplayed 2 other balls. That one is a line shot in the left field, a base hit for Mark Teixeira. Joe Girardi said before the game he was going to try to get him a DH stint in one of the upcoming games, kind of give him a half day off.
Teixeira batting right-handed, gets a high changeup. Tomahawks it for a line drive base hit in the left field. Haven't seen a lot of right-handed at-bats from Teixeira this year. Only 72 and only 4 home runs batting right-handed, but hitting .347.
A-Rod pops it up. Center field. Vernon Wells will put it away for the final out of the first inning. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We've played 1 at the stadium. Toronto nothing, and the Yankees nothing on yes. Channels and the fastest internet. This is Fios. This is Big. Roy Halladay, second start off the DL, 10-2, 2.56 against Chin-Ming Wong. He finally got his first win. That was against the Mets, 1-6 at 10.06 ERA. Our coverage will begin at noon with the BP show, and then 12:30 is our pregame show, and 1:07 will be first pitch. Those dark clouds remain overhead. Hopefully it will move through without any precipitation. Lyle Overbay will lead off against A.J. Burnett. Strike. Weird facing a team that you once played for?
It could be difficult. I remember coming back and facing the Yankees in 2001 when I was with the Red Sox, and they just looking at Derek Jeter in the box was kind of difficult. Jeter almost disarmed me. He wouldn't get in the box until I stared at him, and then he could smile at me, sort of to disarm me a little bit. But it can be when you know the guys. You really have to block it out. Once you get into the flow of the game, you're okay. But certainly first time through the order can be a little tough.
Do you study the hitters at all when you're on your own team? They're going to say he went around. Or they're going to say he thought he got hit. So the umpire is saying no, and now Cito Gaston wants an explanation.
See a back leg slider. Ooh, a little change of direction there. He may be right, even though he didn't move. It looked like the ball changed directions. Overbay does not hesitate. Points to his foot and tries to walk down. I mean, that's a really tough call. Cito Gaston with John Hirschbeck, the home plate umpire, trying to get him to get some help. But very difficult call for any umpire. See Burnett, the ball's just jumping out of his hand today. He's feeling it. His fastball's got a little extra velocity on it so far early in the game.
2-2. Third strikeout as Overbay goes down. Overbay is now 1 for his last 18, 3 for his last 24.
Fastball in right before this. Now he goes away, and you can see that late running movement just off the plate. Overpowers Overbay. See, the ball's almost in the glove before Overbay swings.
Here's Vernon Wells. This is a mystery to everybody around the Blue Jays. Why is Vernon Wells not hitting? Why is he not hitting from power? It's almost unthinkable that they dropped him down to 6th in the lineup. That's how much of an albatross he's been on their lineup. Vernon Wells is a number 3 hitter. He always has been. At worst, number 4, and here he is batting 6th, followed by Alex Rios, also a top of the order hitter. There's a nice piece of hitting. He takes it the other way and lines it to right field. Nick Swisher knocks it down as Vernon Wells will go to second with a 1-out double.
Gets a 2-0 pitch up and out over the plate, almost above the belt. Vernon Wells didn't try to do too much with it. Slashing line drive to right field. Vernon Wells got himself a double. As you see Swisher slide, come up with it. Really no chance. We can see this 2-0 pitch was out, although it was up. Vernon Wells looking out over the plate. Got himself a double.
Rios is 3 for his last 28. And this guy came up. People talked about him blowing. He's got all the tools. They thought he was going to be a huge star, but it just has not come together. Last year he had a pretty good year, but they thought he'd be a 35 home run guy, a 300 hitter all the time, but hasn't been consistent, and now here he is batting 7th. And Rios and Wells are two guys that the Blue Jays actually have inked long term. Shattered bat. Right back to Burnett. Checks Wells and throws to first to get Rios. Part of the bat went into the seats on the outfield side of the Blue Jay dugout.
Just a saw job on the inside corner. Well, you know you're deep into that kitchen when you see the barrel of the bat fly that far. It shows you what kind of fastball A.J. Burnett's featuring this early in the game.
Like Burnett thought about second, David, but he decided to leave it alone. That's where the bat ended up. Fouled away by Dellucci. Dellucci, a Yankee for a short period of time. 14 games with the Indians. 275. Ended up in AAA Las Vegas for the Blue Jays at 317 there. And now this is his first start. David Dellucci is what you would call a manager's ball player. Managers love this guy. Plays hard, plays hurt, doesn't complain. I know that former Yankee manager, Buck Showalter, was a big fan of David Dellucci.
He's put up some pretty good years, and since he's bounced around, he had a high of 29 home runs for the Texas Rangers in 05. He got a little pop in his bat, too.
Cervelli will go out and talk with Burnett. Looks like the immediate threat of the darkening clouds moving away. They've also turned on the lights here at Yankee Stadium. So dark at right, blue center to left. And more dark coming in. Out of the way. Another conference.
Big crowd here today on a day game on Friday, Michael. Starting the July 4th weekend early. Something about a day game crowd at Yankee Stadium.
Big crowd last night, over 46,000. Looks like it might be the same again. And the 2-2. I think that clipped him. It did. So Dellucci will take first. Vernon Wells will head back to second.
Well, there's no doubt about this. Lyle Overbay thought he got hit in the foot and didn't get the call. And this is a no-doubter, almost in the back of the calf. Overbay thought he got one too. A.J. Burnett came in with 6 hit batters on the year. That's number 7. Moving up the list, he came in 5th in the league in hit batters.
David, whenever you see a righty throw a pitch like that to a lefty, I hear you guys say, well, he yanked it or he held on to it too long. What does that mean?
Generally what it means is, the opposite of flying open. You almost hang on to the ball too long.
Chavez takes the pitch inside.
It's almost as if your arm gets out in front of your body. That primarily the number one bugaboo for pitchers is flying open, where your body's kind of leading your upper half, and that's one of the rare occasions when your upper half is ahead of your lower half, and you just kind of hang on to it too long and jerk it inside.
The 1-0. Looper into shallow left, backing up Jeter, and he's there, and he makes the play. So Burnett works into and out of trouble. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. The captain backpedals and records the final out as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Mercedes, your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers on the web at searchmercedes.com. Bob Musial on July 3rd of 1922. He hits for the cycle for the second time in his career. We haven't had a cycle here for the Yankees since 1995 when Tony Fernandez pulled it off. Robinson Cano will dig in. A little too early for that kid. He was just starting to nod off. Now he's right. He's back in it. A lot of use out of that hat. That one's driven deep to right center field. Wells back, looking up. See ya! Solo shot into the Yankee bullpen. And the Yankees lead 1-0. And Cano is red hot.
Robinson Cano, first pitch swinging. Talent trying to go away, leaves it right in the happy zone, down and in. Robinson Cano, you can tell right off the bat, that's a no-doubter. This goes a long way over the bullpen, almost off the plexiglass that protects the Yankee relievers in the bullpen.
13th home run for Cano. Hits the Swisher, is a strike. Now Cano, in his last 7 games and this one at Yankee Stadium, he's 17 for his last 27. Now overall, he's 12 for his last 38, so really starting to find it. Swing and a miss.
You know, it's tough for hitters. As you see, Swisher's got 50 walks, which is 3rd in the AL. Especially Cano. It's tough for the Yankees. They have that grinded out approach, but every now and then those first pitch swings are good too. And the American League is hitting .367 off of Ryan Talent this year off of the first pitch, and Cano with a home run right there.
The 0-2. 1-2.
Try to find that balance, Michael, between grinding out at-bats. Cano's been getting deeper counts this year, but he also still retains that aggressiveness to be able to swing at that first pitch if it's a good one.
Grounded softly toward third, rolling. And there's one away.
Kind of unusual. Both starting pitchers have some unusual numbers. As you see Matsui step up. Matsui career versus Talent. 5 for 11. 6 for 11 with a homer. Talent struggled against left-handed batters. They're hitting .268 off of him as opposed to right-handed batters, which only hit .212, and almost the same for Burnett. Lefties hitting .209 off of A.J. Burnett, .275 right-handed batters. A little unusual.
He ranks first in the majors amongst left-handed pitchers in opponent's batting average against right-handed hitters with a .212 mark. And number 2 on the list is the Dodgers' Clayton Kershaw, who has a .218 average. Now you see his stuff, you see his delivery. Why do you think he can't get out lefties as well?
He's not really a power guy. And with a decent breaking ball right there, kind of a rolling slider, slurvy slider. I think his changeup's probably his best pitch. That's why he gets out right-handed batters so well. Left-handed pitcher throwing changeups to right-handed batters has been very effective for him. But not really a power guy. Upper 80s in his fastball.
And another lefty gets a hit against him. Will that
be Matsui? We'll make that 7 for 12 now in his career. Matsui off of Talent. And that's off the ground. Ball is almost in the dirt. Watch him reach for this one. Catcher's glove's almost going down in the dirt. Good plate coverage by Matsui there. You know, sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes a pitcher, you make a decent pitch, and big league hitters still get hits off of him.
Matsui, 4 for his last 7 on the homestand with 2 doubles and a home run. Here's Cervelli with Posada again off with that sore thumb on the glove hand. A foul tip on Wednesday night. He didn't start yesterday. Jose Molina is presently in Scranton Wilkes-Barre, and throughout the weekend he will be rehabbing. And then the Yankees have a decision to make. If Posada's healthy, do they go with 3 catchers? Don't think they'll do that. And it looks as if Cervelli would go back down. And he's really been good for the Yankees. I mean, if you think about when the Yankees lost both of their catchers within days, they had to really dip down into the minors. They brought up Cervelli and Kevin Cash. And here's how Posada got hurt. And Lopez foul ball. That was in the 9th inning on Wednesday. Jorge just a spectator today. He did pinch hit and finish the game yesterday with a strikeout.
All of a sudden, the Yankees are loaded with catching prospects up and down their minor league system. Cervelli's been such a pleasant surprise. Great defensively and handled the bat a lot better than they expected. Jesus Montero, I think he's in Double-A now as a top prospect, also a catcher in the Yankees organization. Some good young talent showing its head here.
1-1. Grounded softly to third, rolling. Just gets the hustling Cervelli. For the second out as Matsui moves to second. Then they just signed a 16-year-old from the Dominican for $3 million a catcher. So they're building up their catching for sure. Nice play by Roland. In fact, the player that David's talking about, Jesus Montero, he's home in 4 straight games at Trenton. Trenton is the Yankees Double-A team.
Scott Rowland's always been a Gold Glove defender at third base, which made that play look easy.
He's won 7 Gold Gloves in his career. Here's Brett Gardner. Breaking ball strike. Brett is hitless in his last 7 at bats, but a longer stretch, 10 for 28. Most Gold Gloves ever by a third baseman, Brooks Robinson. Mike Schmidt had 10, and then Scott Rowland with 7. Former Yankee Robin Ventura snapped 6 of them. Fly ball right field. Alex Rios is there, and he'll put it away for the final out of the inning. But the Yankees get a run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left. The run comes on Robinson Cano's 13th home run of the year. It's 1-0 Yankees as we head to the 3rd.
Long term, we'll see him as every day. Good defense.
Well, fans, now's your chance to own a piece of history from the original Yankee Stadium. Seats and other memorabilia now on sale at Yankees.com. All items come with a Yankee Steiner letter of authenticity. For more information and to purchase original Yankee Stadium seats and other collectibles, visit Yankees.com today and click the Shop tab. And Marco Scutaro takes a strike on the Modell scoreboard. Yankees lead 1-0 on Cano's home run. And Modell's the official sporting goods retailer of the Yankees. Scutaro struck out looking in the first inning. 3 strikeouts for Burnett so far. Now, Burnett signed a 5-year deal with the Blue Jays. And he had an out clause put in after 3 years, which turned out to be quite fortuitous for him because he had a great season last year. Decided to opt out after the 3rd year. The Blue Jays wanted him, but so did a lot of other teams. They felt that he'd finally gotten over that bugaboo, injuries. He learned how to pitch from Roy Halladay. And he was one of the more desirable free agents on the market. The Braves really went after him. The Mets looked about whether or not he'd be interested, and the Yankees really wanted him as well. And I guess the general feeling, David, is he finally gets it.
Yeah, I think he's at that point in his career where you figure that even though you look at his career numbers, last year was his first breakout year, that he's poised to really take off, and he's starting to figure things out on how to pitch. And being up in Toronto with Roy Halladay really helped him prepare. I know, Michael, we've talked about this a lot. Halladay's been a huge influence on a lot of different pitchers, but you can see there, Doc Holladay's that kind of pitcher. He leads the whole staff. He lifts the whole staff. One of the most prepared pitchers in the big leagues, Halladay, right there. And he had a big influence on Burnett.
You know what's interesting, David? When they say the influence they had on him, it's not as if he taught him how to pitch, but it's how to prepare to pitch the days that you don't pitch. I guess there's an art to that as well.
Well, there is. I mean, it's all the things that go into preparing to pitch, but it's also through osmosis, just by watching that guy pitch every 5 days. And you just learn how he goes about it, how he gets hitters out, second, third time through the lineup. Sometimes that's the best way to learn, which is one of the reasons why I thought it was a good idea for the Yankees to keep Phil Hughes here in the big leagues, and he's been so dominant in the bullpen. But I think you learn a lot just by being on the big league level, watching guys pitch. CC Sabathia and Burnett for Phil Hughes. But I know just sitting on that bench watching a guy like Halladay work every 5 days over the last few years has really helped Burnett, probably as much as anything.
Scutaro put together a tough at bat.
Kind of year Scutaro's had. This is the 8th pitch upcoming, and he's really got a tough out this year for the American League.
Driven to left field, backing up is Damon, and he reaches up, can't make the play. And the ball bangs up against the wall. Damon comes up firing and holds Scutaro to a double. Well, he has the glasses there. Let's see what happens.
This had trouble all the way. It was hit harder than Johnny thought. You could see him drifting, and that ball just jumped on him out to left field. That line drive right at him over his head, and the ball was hit a lot harder than I think Johnny Damon thought it was, and he just drifted and never got there. Certainly a day game at Yankee Stadium. A lot of white T-shirts. That was a line drive about second level high here at Yankee Stadium. Hit a lot harder than Johnny thought off the bat.
So runner at second, nobody out, top of the 3rd inning. Here's Aaron Hill. Popped up. Cervelli gives it a look near the screen, but a couple of rows back. I mean, you really got to wonder about these two. I mean, they're actually mimicking everything that the umpires do. Throw a ball in play.
A traveling road show. First saw him up in Toronto, obviously Blue Jay fan. Saw him up at the old Sky Dome, now the Rogers Center. But those are their seats too. They always find their way right there.
Amazing. The world is really full of different people. Got a couple up here. Does not get the job done. He does not hit behind the runner. So Hill with an unproductive out, one away. Now the Blue Jays are in a little bit of a transitional period. They've kind of whittled down their payroll. For a while there, they had been up close to $100 million, but their owner, Ted Rogers, passed away. And so they're kind of in flux about where the franchise is headed, and they decided to cut some payroll. There was a time when the Blue Jays were the organization. You played for them then, David.
They were. They were the place to be. They were drawing $4 million a year, as I said, up at the old Sky Dome. It was electric in that ballpark back in the early 90s. Sold out every night. I think they were the first team to draw 4 million fans in the American League. You know, and right now it kind of puts their organization and their ball players, as you see Ted Rogers and his resume there. Passed away in 08. Tried to bring this franchise back to the top. Sunk a lot of money into the Sky Dome. Renamed it the Rogers Center. Really tried to revive this franchise, and to a certain extent really did. But it's as you mentioned earlier, you know, the struggles of Vernon Wells and Alex Rios. I mean, it creates a tension in the clubhouse. If those guys don't start to hit, the trade deadline's coming up. A lot of teams, including the Mets, looking for maybe an extra bat. And, you know, that's sort of those sort of things creep into your head as a ball player, wondering, you know, are we going to make a run for it, or are we going to make some trades here?
Unfortunately for the Blue Jays, they're in the toughest division in baseball. And you talk to people, and most people believe that the three best teams in baseball, or at least three of the top five, are the Yankees, the Rays, and the Red Sox. So even if they have a good year, do they have enough to get into that top 2 slot, maybe get into the playoffs? So it's a tough call. 3-1.
Kind of been tough for the Blue Jays to get a read too, because of their schedule. It's the first time they've been here in New York at Yankee Stadium. They still have a lot of games within their division in the second half, which is a much tougher schedule, as you said, Michael. The AL East, probably the toughest division in all of baseball.
Well, the Jays have hung around a lot longer than people thought they were going to hang around. They're 39-38. They obviously lost A.J. Burnett to free agency last year, and a lot of their pitchers that they expected to be in the rotation are hurt. But the people that they've funneled in have done the job. More like Ricky Romero has become a real force. Great changeup, kind of a Bugs Bunny changeup.
Looking forward to seeing him pitch in this series. Scott Richmond, too. A couple of young starters. They've really kind of recycled or rejuvenated their pitching rotation with all the injuries, and they've got some surprises from some young pitchers who know what they're doing.
High fly ball. Left center. Damon back again, and he makes the play this time. For the second out, so Lynn gave it a ride.
Adam Lynn's got that kind of power, especially the other way, and you can see he almost fights it off a little bit, but the ball carries, just keeps going and going, and Johnny Damon gets out to the track and gets a beat on it.
Here's Scott Rowland. Fly ball right in the first inning. Has a 19-game hitting streak working. Now on his line to right again, and Swisher is there and makes the play. So Damon's misplay does not cost Burnett. He pitches through it. No runs, a hit, no errors, and one man left. We go to the bottom of the third. It's 1-0 Bombers. Mohegan Sun Sports Bar. That's right there. At Mohegan Sun, you'll find a million different ways to play with something for everybody. Visit MoheganSun.com for more information. You and I should take a drive to Mohegan Sun, Dave. We'll have a good time.
We would have a good time.
You guys at Mohegan Sun, if you listen, set her up, please. We'll be up there. Here's Derek Jeter. And the pitch. Could not hold up and count 0-1 on the Modell scoreboard. It's 1-0 Yankees, and Modell's, of course, is the official sporting goods retailer of the New York Yankees. Cito is really not digging that call. I guess they didn't call it a strike. So it's 1-0. And that's a base hit for Derek Jeter. So for Jeter, he now has a 9-game hitting streak.
It's a 1-0 pitch. Got a little dipsy-do to it. Might be another changeup. Maybe a little sinker off the plate. And Jeter showed great plate coverage. Reach it out. If you allow Jeter to reach out over the plate on the outside corner and don't keep him honest in, he will wear you out to right field all day long.
Johnny Damon has some of left field on his left shoulder. A little bit of a laundry bill for the Yankee clubhouse crew. That's a warning track there. It looks like he's wearing 118.
That's not a good place for a dirt spot right there on your back.
That's not a dirt spot that you get with Valor, I guess.
No, that's the one you kind of drifting back, tumbling, and fall down. Yeah, that's not a stripe of pride there. Definitely want that dirt on the front of your uni.
Talent keeping Jeter close. Jeter is 17 of 19 in stolen bases. The 0-1.
The Yankees trying to get something going on Brian Talent. If you look at Talent's numbers, he's pitched better than you think, Michael. In 2 of his starts, he's given up 18 earned runs in 2 of his starts. 10 earned runs against Kansas City back in April, and give up 8 earned runs in another start. His 13 other, if you take those 2 starts away, really his ERA in his 13 other starts is 2.99. We mentioned in the G pitcher scouting report, 11 out of his 15 starts, he's given up 3 earned runs or less. April 29th versus Kansas City, gave up 10 earned runs in 3 1/3 innings. And June 4th against Florida, 8 earned runs. Talent's been, his conversion from the bullpen to the starting rotation has been successful for the Blue Jays. Somewhat of a surprise for them, but anytime you can turn a left-handed pitcher into a starter, it's such a valuable commodity. Even though he's not really a power guy, he knows what he's doing out there. He's especially, as we said, tough on right-handed batters with a good changeup.
Just got a piece.
Johnny Damon came into this game hitting 5 for 16 off of Talent lifetime for a .313 average. 0 for 1 so far today.
Two. Strike 3. Damon down looking. He's not in love with that call. So Talent paints the outside corner. Hey fans, it's time for the Toyota Text Ball. Today's question is, which of these pitchers with Blue Jays ties made the biggest contribution to the Yankees? The choices are number 1, Roger Clemens, number 2, David Cohn, number 3, Jimmy Key, number 4, David Wells, You can text your vote to 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply. Now, I narrow it down to 2 and 3. I'm going to tell you why. First of all, you won 4 championships with the Yankees, so that's pretty important. But I can't dismiss how Jimmy Key helped turn the culture around on this ball club, and that was one of the reasons he got signed by Gene Michael and Buck Showalter. They didn't have winners in their clubhouse, David, and he came here and they learned how to be professionals.
I'm a big fan of Jimmy Key. He's a big part of that 96 team and the 98 team for that matter, and the 97 team as well. When they lost to the playoffs. But you're right about Jimmy Key. He's a frontline starter. Had a nice career. Really battled shoulder problems late in his career that really kind of shortened what would have been a much more extensive career, but still very solid numbers for Jimmy Key. Good guy, man. Really good guy. Great guy. I think I'd vote for you, though. The 1-1. Now, in his career with the Yankees, Key was 48-23, 3.68. Oh, those big-time numbers. They are big-time numbers, more than 2 to 1. You know, ironically, back in 1992, the Yankees had targeted Greg Maddux as their #1 guy. Did you see Jimmy Key? Paint master, good changeup, a lefty, a lot of deception. And I was their #2 guy, and I ended up signing with the Royals, waiting on the Yankees as they were trying to get Maddux. And Jimmy Key was their 3rd choice and slipped in. Grounded, foul. Just missed an extra base hit. Third base umpire Chad Fairchild right there. Teixeira quick. He's shown that he's got a quick stroke from both sides of the plate. He's a really good fastball hitter, especially left-handed. I think batting right-handed, he's probably sprays it all over the field a little more. Only 4 of his 20 home runs have come batting right-handed this year. Even though he only has 73 at-bats, predominantly batting left-handed. You're going to obviously face more right-handed pitching. Keeps trying that line. .73 at-bats, batting right-handed. Teixeira is now hitting .356 with 4 home runs and 17 RBIs. Strike 3. Talent Painting caught the inside corner, and there are 2 outs. See, Teixeira does not like it, but you tell you what, you hit the glove, it's right there, borderline in or off. We'll get an overhead look. Overhead camera's not directly over top. Looks like it might have been in off the plate a little bit. Teixeira thought so. More importantly, though, John Hirschbeck did not. As we mentioned at the beginning, Hirschbeck's always been a pitcher's umpire. Wide strike zone. Here's Alex Rodriguez. Low and inside. Would you pitch differently with a pitcher's umpire behind the plate? Well, yeah, I think early in the game you'd want to find out where the strike zone was, but if there was a particular spot you could go to, it used to be off the plate about thigh high. You know, National League umpires especially used to call that pitch a lot, but the ball in the inside corner had to be on the plate, as we saw Hirschbeck kind of ring Teixeira up on a borderline inside pitch. So he goes inside on A-Rod, then outside, count 2-0. But to answer your question, Michael, yeah, certainly if you knew an umpire was calling a wider strike zone, you would certainly try to expand it or push the outer limits of the zone, assuming that you had good control that day. It's so funny, a pitcher can make an adjustment like that to an umpire, but for a hitter, it's a little bit more difficult. Because I remember when Hirschbeck was umpiring, and Ray Bob would always be upset because there'd be strikes called that weren't strikes. He felt they weren't strikes. I said, well, you know it's Hirschbeck. Why don't you just expand the strike zone? He said, you want me to unlearn stuff that I've been teaching myself since I was 5 years old. He said, the strike zone's the strike zone. It's not an artistic interpretation. Wade would get fired up. The 3-0 is inside, so A-Rod walks. Well, technically, Wade's right, but there's human beings that are umpires, and there's always the human element, and every umpire has his own interpretation of the strike zone. And It's certainly not a Cyclops out there, you know, where there's a square box and the light goes off when there's a strike. It's human beings making those calls, and human beings behind home plate right there making their own calls as well. They just put on the mask. They take the inning off when the Blue Jays are hitting. Put those masks on. The guys behind, the two goons behind home plate I'm referring to. They take a half inning off. Now they're back on duty with the...
It's important to have the throat protector. One of them has it, one doesn't. Here's Cano with runners on first and second. 2 men out. Cano homered in the second, the only run on the board. Jeter almost hung A-Rod out to dry because Jeter took off and then stopped, and A-Rod was taking off, and then he had to stop short when he saw that Jeter stopped, and then Chavez threw through.
You know, that's a straight read play for A-Rod. He is keying off of Jeter. If Jeter gets a jump, he can go on his own. Certainly not a sign given from the bench, although occasionally a manager will put on a double steal. But A-Rod's keying off of Jeter, as Michael said. Jeter's been exceptionally efficient in stealing bases this year, although he did get thrown out last night.
17 of 19 for Jeter. Nub foul. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees. Now you go red, white, and blue tie tomorrow, David, or what?
Now that you mention it, I'm going to have to look in my closet, see when I can break out. Yeah.
Getting a jump on the holiday.
Maybe we can just do those polo shirts right there, Michael. That'll look good on TV, right?
Let's do it. The 0-2. Hit sharply to second. Gobbled up by Hill. And that'll do it here in the third. So the Yankees threaten but can't push it across. No run to hit, no errors. 2 men left. 3 in the books. It's 1-0 Yanks. New York State Smokers Quitline Quiz. Vernon Wells has 20 career home runs against the Yankees. Which Blue Jays player has the most? We'll find that out in the bottom of the 4th inning. Lyle Overbay will lead off against A.J. Burnett. 1-0. One 4-0 Yanks, 0-2-0 for the Jays. That one is driven out into left center field. It is going to be a base hit. It'll go up against the wall as Overbay picks up a leadoff double. That's the 3rd double by the Blue Jays, and they lead the major leagues with 175 doubles.
Overpay with covering the plate, out over. Almost off the plate, a ball. First pitch swinging. Good extension, drives that ball in the gap. One hop, up and off. An easy stand-up double. First pitch, watch the glove. Cervelli's maybe a little higher than he thought, but it was definitely an outside corner or off. You see that ball's right on the corner, maybe just off. Overpay with great play coverage on the first pitch.
Vernon Wells takes a pitch inside.
Overpay was 0 for 13 lifetime versus Burnett before that last double.
Vernon Wells doubled in the second. He is 3 for his last 20. Burnett steps off. Jays 0 for 5 so far with runners in scoring position today. Good breaking ball. When you see a batter turn his shoulder like that, he's got no chance.
Cervelli kind of setting up middle away. Ball ends up front door. See Burnett, you see Wells just give up on it.
Cervelli blocks the ball. Going to third is Overpay. He'll make it. Heads up base running for Overpay. Wild pitch.
It's a quick read by Overpay. See the slider in the dirt. Cervelli does a good job, but the ricochet off the mask runs him up the line. And watch Overpay. You got to go right now. And he does. You got a quick read. Good base running. Cervelli, nice block.
Round of foul. She got the baseball, but she refuses to display it. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Burnett. Wells down swinging.
He goes back to the front door again. And Wells didn't pick up the last one. This one he takes a hack at. You see, right-handed hitters just don't see that pitch that much. That breaking ball starting at them and breaking over the inside corner. See that knuckle curve grip that Burnett features. And you can see Wells almost kind of double hitch and tries to take a hack at it. Going to take it back to the bench with another strikeout.
Yankees bring the infield in, but Rios singles to center field as Lyle Overpay scores, and it's a 1-1 game.
Sometimes the best approach against Burnett is the first pitch. You might see the best one, and Rios came in kind of struggling, gets a fastball right there. RBI situation, trying to come in. You see the movement from Cervelli. It almost ends up middle away. Intended to go in with the pitch. Can add to the numbers this year. Coming in to this game off the first pitch, A.J. Burnett, whose opposing hitters were hitting 357 off of him this year on the first pitch. When it's put in play, 15 for 42. After this inning, we're going to make that 17 for 44. Sometimes with a guy who's got nasty stuff, Michael, like Burnett, he's a strikeout pitcher, even though he has walked some guys this year. Leading the league in walks with 47, but when he gets ahead of you, he's so nasty. Sometimes the best approach is that first pitch fastball.
Big numbers against the Yankees for Rios. Hit safely in 37 of 39 games. Lucci was hit by a pitch in the second inning. Count 1-0. Rios does have speed. Pitch is high. Now Cervelli wants to talk with Burnett. So you can see what you were saying before, David. When you fly open, a righty's going to throw a pitch to a lefty up and away. If you hold on to the ball too long, it's going to be low and inside.
Exactly. It's going to be low and inside. It's just hanging on to the ball too long, but that, obviously those are flying open to a lefty. It's all about syncing your lower half and your upper half, about timing, rhythm, and synchronization between what's going on with your glove and the ball, and then your lower half and your drive, especially your back leg, driving off the pitching rubber. Ironically, I don't know what this means, Michael, but on the season, A.J. Burnett has struggled in the 4th inning.
Runner was going.
Opposing hitters in the American League are hitting .304 off of him in the 4th inning. 170 in the 1st, 196 in the 2nd, 218 in the 3rd. Drops back down to 220 in the 5th. So I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason to it, but for some reason, A.J. Burnett has struggled in the 4th inning this year.
Paying a lot of attention to Rios. Now, a lot of those throws are called by the bench, but can a pitcher throw over on his own if he wants to?
Absolutely. And sometimes a pitcher may get a sign that from the catcher and then change his mind and not want to throw that particular pitch and go ahead and throw over to first to reset the signals.
Runner goes. Throw to second. Got him. Good throw by Cervelli.
This will show off some skills from Cervelli right here. This is a breaking ball. Pretty good jump from Rios, too. 79-mile-an-hour breaking ball. Still gets him out by about 5 feet. Kind of a hanging breaking ball. Quick release. And there's never been any doubt about Francisco Cervelli's defensive skills.
And DeLucci works a walk. That's going to bring up the number 9 batter, Raul Chavez.
We talked about in our pitcher scout report about the potpourri that A.J. Burnett puts up across the board in terms of numbers, and he's got it again today. There's walks, there's strikeouts, you got a hit batter. You mix in a wild pitch, and he'll be all over the board. It's kind of the way I used to pitch, Michael. I mean, I was all over a lot of everything. Good, bad, ugly. I had a lot of everything. Hit batters, walks, strikeouts, you name it.
But sometimes that's a positive.
Sometimes it's a positive. Sometimes it's good to be a little conveniently wild. A.J. Burnett not afraid to pitch inside, knock guys down, knock them off the plate.
Foul back. And out of play. Two outs, runner on first. Game is tied at 1. We're in the top of the 4th inning. And the pitch. Foul back. 1-2.
As a pitcher, you see A.J. Burnett, a right-handed pitcher. With a guy like Cervelli behind the plate, it's almost like he's going to shut down the running game. After that last throw, you don't have to worry about quickening up your delivery. You don't have to worry about slide stepping. You just hold the ball a little bit. You give Cervelli half a chance. He's going to throw him out for you. So it takes a lot of pressure off the pitcher's mind. Even though in this situation, obviously with 2 outs, looking to get the hitter.
Grounded to third. Alex Rodriguez fields deep. And across the diamond, that's going to do it. But the Blue Jays tie the score. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's a 1-1 game. quit line quiz. And the answer, Vernon Wells has 20 career home runs against the Yankees. Which Blue Jays player has the most home runs against the Yankees? The answer is Carlos Delgado with 28. He could hit. He's not hitting right now, coming back from that hip surgery.
I was going to say Joe Carter. That was my guess. Touch 'em all, Joe.
He's second. He would have been close. There's Nick Swisher. He grounded out to third. That was in the second. Count 1-0. 1-1. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth.
You know, these Yankee switch hitters, Michael, we talked about Teixeira, you know, batting right-handed. Swisher so far this year, 66 at-bats, right-handed, hitting .216 with 3 home runs. 3 out of his 14 home runs, batting right-handed.
Started off red hot in April. The average has fallen precipitously. Count 2-2.
Well, some of that gets a little skewed because obviously you face more right-handed pitching, so both Teixeira and Swisher haven't had a chance to get as many at-bats right-handed.
And Talent deals the 2-2. Inside, another full count for Nick Swisher.
There's a case in point. You asked me, Michael, do you change your style of pitching depending on the umpire? You see Talent trying to go back inside. He's gotten a couple calls from John Hirschbeck, the home plate umpire, on inside pitches to righties, and tried to go back in there again.
Fly ball center field. And they're one away. That was the 69th full count that Nick Swisher has worked this year. Hey, live Yankee games at the beach, live Yankees games at the office. Now you'll never miss a live Yes Network Yankees game again. Starting July 8th, Bronx Bomber fans will be able to watch live Yes Network Yankee games on their personal computers and laptops. Now, if you're an Optimum Online and IOTV customer, go to YesNetwork.com to get more information and sign up for your subscription now. Here's Matsui. And a strike. Missed outside. Now you always hear that Cito Gaston, and you actually used this phrase before, is a player's manager. What does that mean?
Well, what that means is he's more of a macro manager. He's not a micro manager. He doesn't try to really overplay a lot of the little details. He allows veteran teams to police themselves. He leaves you alone for the most part. It's very similar to Joe Torre in that regard. He didn't hold a lot of team meetings, and when he did, it was very effective. Cito was also in game right now when he's looking at opposing pitchers. He was great at picking up little telltale signs, or when a pitcher was tipping his glove, certain pitches.
Now, you think a guy like that would be a bad manager for a young team that needs discipline?
Well, it's two different schools of thought. You know, Cito Gaston obviously did so well back in the early 90s with a predominantly veteran team that policed themselves. And he's got the World Series rings to show for it. And it depends on if you match up with the philosophy of your general manager and your organization overall. Really is the key for a young team and what type of manager you would need. Cito's still a very good hitting instructor as well.
And that doesn't mean that a micromanager would be a bad manager. Sometimes they're the right fit for certain teams.
Absolutely. You know, probably the best micromanager I've ever been around was Buck Showalter. And I don't say that negatively. You know, Buck was all over everything. He was probably one of the most prepared guys I've ever been around in terms of gathering information. Cito's a little more old school. Certainly that doesn't mean that he doesn't have all the information, but places less emphasis on it.
Rolls over on that one. Matsui does. 2-1.
It's kind of, as you talked about, Michael, too, it's kind of the battle of the old school mentality versus the new school, and the money ball, and whether bunts and stealing bases are part of the game. Cito's obviously more of an old school guy. He's gotten these guys to be more aggressive at the plate, the Blue Jays, that is. And swing at more first pitches. If you see it early, like it. Pull the ball. Try to drive the ball a little more, especially when you're in hitters' counts.
Here's Cervelli. He's also a very good people person. When he took over for John Gibbons, J.P. Ricciardi wanted to keep Brian Butterfield. And Brian Butterfield didn't want to be there with a new manager who didn't want him. And Cito came over to Brian Butterfield and said, I need you here. He goes, you're not here because they want me to keep you here. I want you here. And Butterfield said that meant the world to him. I mean, just for have a guy come over and talk to him like that. And now they're very close. I mean, they had not really known each other before that. And Brian's a great baseball guy. You speak of Buck Showalter, he was one of Buck Showalter's lieutenants here with the Yankees.
Yes, an outstanding baseball guy. As you see Cito Gaston there. But Brian Butterfield served the Yankees well, too, in that capacity through the 95 season.
High fly ball, left field. Tough sun field right now. DeLucci near the line. And he makes the play in fair territory for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. And boy, that guy is happy on this July 4th weekend. Let's go to the 5th inning here at the stadium. It's 1-1, Yankees and Toronto. Canadian and the American flags here at Yankee Stadium blowing proudly. What is this little bit of Michael? The electricians brought this in here at the stadium. Oh, look at that head. That body can't support that head. Also, my neck's not that fat. I guess that's a play on a little bit of luck.
That is a play. That looks like something Paul O'Neill left behind before he got onto that plane in Teterboro last night.
Lexus scoreboard, it's 1-1. Top of the fifth and top of the Blue Jay order against A.J. Burnett. And Scudero swings at the first pitch and skies it to right. Swisher is there, and there's one away.
I was looking after the game last night, Michael, looking for the booth pop, and O'Neill was gone. It was just you and Singy last night after the game.
He got permission from the Grand Poobah of Yes, John Filippelli, because the plane could only take off at a certain time. He had business to attend to in Cincinnati, so I'm sure that you could have that same thing.
John Filippelli, classic micromanager, Michael.
The pitch outside to Aaron Hill.
That brain is going 90 different directions. He's on everything.
They called that a strike, by the way, 0-1. So you're going to call him and see if you could leave early one of these days?
No. I don't need to leave early. I don't have to get back to Cincinnati. I just got to get back to the Apple, Michael.
You like the Apple.
Oh, that's the greatest city in the world.
Foul straight back here, and that's about as close as we've gotten to a foul ball, just under the booth.
That was close, Michael.
Yeah.
Right under us.
The 1-2 upstairs.
We're right over here.
This is the Toronto television broadcasters.
I thought those hockey guys are supposed to be tough, Michael.
In hockey. Pitch is high. Kind of like players, then they talk about it afterward. So close. 3-2. Swung on and missed.
Well, this is why you want to get A.J. Burnett early in the count. On a 3-2, he could drop that kind of a breaking ball on you and make you look silly. And that was nasty on a 3-2 bender.
Fifth strikeout for Burnett. Here's Adam Lynn. Count 1-0.
Love day games, Michael. Looking forward to tonight in the Apple. Get a nice meal in, go have a nice dinner, beat the streets a little bit.
We have your day game numbers here. That one is driven out to right center field. On the run is Swisher and Gardner. Somebody caught it. It's Nick Swisher for the final out of the inning. He went a long way into the gap to haul it in to complete the 1-2-3 inning. Swisher and Gardner, and Swisher with the play. Coney in day game 66 and 44, 3.38. 1-1 here today. Inning here at Yankee Stadium. It's a 1-1 game on a beautiful Friday afternoon. Brett Gardner on the Lexus scoreboard, 1-4-0 for each team. Brett Gardner leads off. There's a strike. Doesn't feel like Friday, does it, David? You're just not used to this on a Friday.
Not used to it, but I tell you what, I could smell Friday night coming.
You usually can.
Love it. 4 straight day games here, Michael.
See, but there's one issue for you that I'm worried about. This is like 4 straight starts for you. I mean, you can't go out all night because you got to be here in the morning each day.
Oh, no, it's all about micromanaging your time off the field, Michael.
Okay.
You get an earlier start so you can get home earlier.
Nice. Good way to think about it.
Assuming that the weather in this game will cooperate, of course. A 1-to-1 duel here.
65 pitches for Brian Talent, 43 strikes. Billy Martin, the former Yankee manager who I had a great relationship with, used to tell me these little tidbits that he thought would help get me through life. And he told me, Michael, if you can't do what you want to do by 1 o'clock in the morning, it can't be done. Just go home.
That's good advice, too, from a guy who knows, too. He learned the hard way.
3-1. And there's a strike, so Gardner's worked the count full. Did you ever get a chance to know Billy?
A little bit, yes.
3-2. And Gardner walks him. Now he can run.
Yeah, he just had an amazing baseball mind.
Oh, unbelievable.
And a great talent evaluator, too.
I mean, we all know the stories of his demons, but boy, was he a baseball genius. He was unbelievable. I mean, he forgot more things than people know.
Yeah, I was pitching in Double-A from the Royals farm system, and he was scouting at that point in one of his stints when he was not managing or had been fired from the Yankees. And he could just look at a delivery of a pitcher and see something he liked or didn't like. You know, that sort of knack for talent evaluating, especially pitching on the minor league level. Billy Martin could do that as well.
Here's Derek Jeter. Gardner works his 20th walk of the season, and he is always a threat to go. And Talent knows that.
You know, Gene Michael, Stick Michael, also very good at that too. One of the great talent evaluators in Yankee history.
Pitch outside. Now Gardner successful in 17 of 19 stolen base attempts this year. Chavez getting the signs from the Blue Jay bench.
Talent comes in and not really known for an exceptional move for a left-handed pitcher to first base. He does quite a quicken up his delivery to home plate when he delivers it, but not really known for a great pickoff move.
Snap throw to first. Good throw by Chavez as Gardner dives back.
Gardner not really that far off the base.
You really have to be alert. Well, Jeter's certainly getting plenty of time to steal, but you can see that Gardner's not getting a good enough read on Talent.
You know, Michael, we talked about Moneyball and, you know, bunting and stolen bases. Well, this is the intangible. When you have speed on first base and talent is so preoccupied with Gardner's speed that all of a sudden now it carries over to the at-bat. You got a 3-0 count. He hasn't even come close to the strike zone to Jeter, predominantly because of Gardner's speed on first base.
There's a strike.
You know, that's sort of the residual effect that speed has that don't show up in the numbers. You know, the panic that a pitcher can feel. Maybe more prone to make a mistake. He's trying to quicken up his delivery and slide step to home plate. Believe me, it drove me crazy. When I faced teams, namely the Cardinals with speed, Vince Coleman and Ozzie Smith, those type of teams drove me crazy.
And now 2 straight walks. First and second. Nobody out. Time for another look at today's Toyota text poll. Once again, the question, which of these pitchers with Blue Jays ties made the biggest contribution to the Yankees? You've been texting us at 58772. Now let's see what your choice is. 51%, an overwhelming landslide for David Cone. Wow. And 26% Jimmy Key, and I agree.
Gone. Get him out.
Wow. Winner.
Took me a long time last night to think up that text, Mike. And then call on my family members to call in and vote.
And for you to be able to do the game and text as many times as you've been texting, it's pretty impressive as
better.
well.
I'm quicker.
Yeah, like me. Here's Johnny Damon. And a drag bunt. It's a beauty. And he makes first base. Talent tried to bowl the ball over Overbay. Couldn't get any lift on it. So the Yankees have the bases loaded on a bunt single by Damon.
Well, I guess this is what you would call the anti-Moneyball inning, Michael. You see Johnny Damon with a good drag bunt. Talent probably had a little more time than he thought, but had to get to this in a hurry. This is on him. And the shovel toss comes up short. Damon right there, bang, bang. Tie goes to the runner.
They're giving him a sacrifice and giving an E1 so he does not get a base hit. How about that?
I do not agree with that.
Pitch outside to Teixeira.
You know, Talon, a left-handed pitcher falling off to the third base side, had a higher degree of difficulty to get over there and make that play. Even though he probably had time if he had been able to get more on that flip. But that is not an easy play. It's certainly a tough error.
Well, the door out in left center field has blown open.
This is not an easy play. He's got to get over there. He knows he's got to barehanded circle it. Yeah, that is a tough error. Even though a good flip would have made it, but it's not like, you know, he didn't have a lot of ground to cover. It wasn't right back to him. Look at that double duty. Vernon Wells. Close the garage door.
Good job by Wells. So the count 1-0 on Teixeira. And now it's 2-0. Talent's really lost the plate this inning. And I think it was only exacerbated by the walk to Gardner. Got his mind off of the batter. Gardner's at third, Jeter's at second. Damon is at first. Still nobody out for the Yankees. It's a 1-1 game. Now 3-0. What do you think, David? Green light here?
I think with Teixeira, he has shown that he's willing to swing on 3-0 this year. We've seen him swing several times on 3-0 counts. Certainly batting left-handed more than right-handed, but I think Teixeira's a guy you could easily turn loose right here.
Red Arnsberg quickly calls to the bullpen. And the 3-0. He walked him. That forces in a run. And the Yankees take a 2-1 lead. 3 walks in the inning for Talent. Inexplicably losing the plate here in the 5th.
Look at the sequence here. Tries a changeup, turns it over way away. Same thing off the plate. Trying to off-speed Teixeira and then tries the fastball in 3-0 and just misses down. Almost looks like he was thinking what you were thinking, Michael, that Teixeira might be swinging 3-0 right there.
So Arnsberg will come out and talk with Talent.
Well, Gardner really the key to this inning, really working that walk, and then his speed really distracting Talent to lead to the Derek Jeter walk, and then Johnny Damon with a good bunt to set up this inning. Now Teixeira's got an RBI on a walk with the bases loaded.
Well, it doesn't get any easier now with A-Rod coming up. And A-Rod's probably drooling, so he's got to throw a strike now, as Jesse Carlson, one of the 2 left-handers, begins warming in the bullpen. Gets a strike and he fouls it off. Well, Howie Carpenter, the official scorer, just changed the E1 to a single, so somebody obviously appealed to him and he reconsidered. He's a good official scorer, and Gavin gets himself a single. There's a ground ball to third. They'll come home for 1. Back to first. Not in time. Just missed a double play. So the put out 5-2.
You see A-Rod out in front off the end of the bat. It's Scott Rowland, the Gold Glover. Quick release right to home. And I tell you what, this was pretty close to being turned. You don't see a lot of this turn home to first. Very close at first base.
Well, there have been 2 bang-bang plays at first base, both in favor of the Yankees.
This is the hardest double play to turn when you come all the way home and then to first. Bang-bang at first. Nice play by Rowland, delivering the ball high.
Bases loaded now with 1 out, and here is the red-hot Robinson Cano. And that one gets past Chavez. Here comes Damon. He'll score. The ball is thrown away, but Teixeira stays right there. And A-Rod moves to second. So a wild pitch, and the Yankees lead 3-1.
Yeah, this is definitely a pass ball. As you see, setting up away, the ball's back in, but clearly should have had that ball. You can see right there's where he throws the ball away. And no further damage is done, but that's clearly a pass ball. See Damon coming in, taking the glove with him. Sneaky play, but that Damon's a sneaky guy.
Now the infield comes in for the Jays. And that is scored a pass ball. Yankees lead 3-1.
Looked like a slider that didn't really slide from Talent.
Grounded foul.
Yeah, right underneath it. Really, just took the glove away. Talent thinks the glove's still on his hand, sweeps it back around. Oh yeah, let me go get that. Might need it.
The pitch. Slow roller towards second. Here comes Teixeira. He's out. And he thinks he's safe. And Joe Girardi is going to come out and argue. We'll take a look. as A-Rod moves to third, and Cano reaches on the fielder's choice.
Well, it's a tough one because you see here Cano out in front reaching to Hill, and anytime the throw beats the runner, the throw's there in plenty of time, even though Teixeira gets his hand under the tag. Certainly can make an argument that he snuck his hand in there, but the throw beats the runner by such a wide margin, even though it's high. Umpires generally will make that call out, even though it looks like right there he is safe. The IOTV HD Super Shot.
This will give us a better angle. Wow, bang, bang. Three really close plays.
A nifty slide by Teixeira to try to sneak his hand underneath after the throw clearly beat him to home plate.
Hits the Swisher is outside.
One last look at it. You can see that hand sneaking in under the tag, and here comes the tag. So Teixeira had a point. You want to see Hirschbeck not in the best of positions for that particular call. That's a hard call to make for a home plate umpire, to get yourself in the right position, and especially, as I said before, when the ball beats the runner by such a wide margin.
Strike.
Certainly, for Brian Talent, kind of a scratch your head kind of an inning here. No balls hit really hard. Gardner got it started with the walk. Then his speed forced another walk to Jeter, and Johnny Damon with a nifty bunt.
Pitch counts up because of all of those walks. 24 pitches this inning, 86 total. Strike three. Swisher down looking. Well, Talent can't really complain that much. Bases loaded, nobody out, just 2 runs in, so he kept the bleeding to a minimum. Yankees score 2 on just 1 hit, a disputed hit at that, and they lead 3-1 over Toronto. Turned into a beautiful Friday afternoon, so A.J. Burnett has a lead. And the first pitch to Scott Rowland is a strike. Rowland 0 for 2, as I mentioned, carries a 19-game hitting streak into this one. to right center field. Swisher makes the play. 3 fly balls to right by Roland. Hey fans, celebrate the inaugural season of Yankee Stadium this Monday afternoon, July 6th, when the Yankees take on the Blue Jays. And the first 18,000 fans 21 and older are going to receive a commemorative inaugural season ticket keychain courtesy of Supercuts. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or you can call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Roland now 3 for 25 lifetime against Burnett. Probably liked the fact he was a teammate last year, didn't have to face him. There's a strike to Lyle Overbay.
In case you're wondering, Burnett's pitch count's in good shape. That was the 83rd pitch for strike 1 on a breaking ball to Overbay.
Count 1-1. David told you in the scouting report, last 3 starts coming into this one, Burnett 2-1, 0.44. And he's a Yankee pitcher who's had equal success at home and on the road. His home ERA 3.91, road ERA 3.94. So not victimized at all by the ballpark. You know, David, you look at the Yankee staff, and they actually, of the 5 pitchers, 4 of them would be perfect guys that you'd want to send out here at Yankee Stadium, where it has yielded the home run ball. You got 3 strikeout guys in Sabathia, Burnett, and Chamberlain, and you got a ground ball guy in Chin-Ming Wang. Now the only one that wouldn't really play into your typical Yankee Stadium pitcher would be Andy Pettitte, but he had a great start his last time out against Seattle.
Yeah, he did. And Andy's got a big check mark behind, under the category of intangibles. He's a big game pitcher. He rises to the occasion. He figures out ways to get hitters out. So I'd take that guy right there, Andy Pettitte, on my staff any day. He also has a great pickoff move. He does so many of the little things so well, shutting down running games because of that great pickoff move.
Overbay down looking. 6th strikeout for A.J. Burnett. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by your tri-state area Audi dealers. Audi, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Yankees. Everyone always asks, what's those little green things in front of the people? Are they little patches of grass? And the pitch to Vernon Wells is a strike.
Chia Pet. You ever see those, Mike?
Yeah, sure. Looks like he's coming up out of the field of dreams there. Count 0-2.
Boy, Burnett's had a great mix today. He's had an exceptionally good fastball. 64 fastballs out of his 89 pitches. 74% fastballs, 25% breaking balls, 22 breaking balls on the day.
Grounded foul.
See, Burnett predominantly a 2-pitch pitcher, although he does have a changeup. We've only seen one of them today. It's more of a power change, but he's got that mid-90s fastball and that knee-buckling curveball that he features. And just an outstanding mix of pitches.
Driven deep to left field. Damon back, looking up. See ya. A long home run into the bleachers in left field for Vernon Wells. Yankees now lead 3-2, and that ball's coming back.
Yeah, another 0-2 pitch, and A.J. Burnett, at the end of the day, you can see it's right up and out over the middle of the plate. That is not what you're trying to do on 0-2. Vernon Wells makes him pay. A.J. Burnett's been on the corners all day long with his stuff, especially his fastball. That was one of the first mistakes he's made, especially on 0-2, as you see career versus the Yankees. Vernon Wells creeping up, 21st career home run.
Count 0-2. Close ball game. That's why Yankees have the bases loaded, nobody out. If you're the Blue Jays, you don't go nuts that they only scored 2. Yankees had a chance to really open up a lead, but not just a 1-run lead, top of the 6th. Wells has struggled this year, but he is 2 for 3 today against the Yanks, a double and a home run. Came into the game 2 for his last 19. So the Yankees have always been a little bit of a tonic for him. Fly ball right field. Nick Fisher is there, and that'll do it. But the Blue Jays get a run back on Vernon Wells' home run against A.J. Burnett. A deep drive into the bleachers in left field. Nice catch by a Yankee fan. 3-2 Yanks. Hideki Matsui takes a strike from Brian Talbot as we start the bottom of the 6th inning. Yankees hold a 3-2 lead. First game of this 4-game set. 4-game series. That first game is so important. You lose that first game, you're on the defensive. You know you have to take the next 3 to win the series. You win the first game, you know you take just one of the next 3 and split. So a real momentum turner the first game of a 4-game set. Matsui is 1 for 2 today. He singled to right center in the 2nd, then grounded to 2nd. That was in the 4th. And the pitch. Rolled over on that pitch and grounded it to Hill. 1 out.
You're right, Michael. It's even more important. A 4-game series, all-day games here, starting on Friday, the 4th of July weekend for the Yankees and the Blue Jays. And you've got Roy Halladay going tomorrow too, so that makes this first game even more important. If the Blue Jays were to steal this one with Brian Talbot against A.J. Burnett, well, they feel pretty good about the start of their weekend with Halladay and then a hot, as you say, Romero, young lefty. I'm looking forward to seeing in the 4th game. I believe we're going to see him.
And Scott Richmond on Sunday. Here's Cervelli. And the pitch high. 1-0. .91 pitches for Talbot. Line drive to center field. It's a base hit in front of Wells. So Cervelli with a 1-out single in the 6th.
Well, Cervelli gets a fastball that was meant to be in, and as you can see, it's almost middle away, but down. Cervelli right back up the middle with it. You know, the thing Cervelli has shown us is that he can hit a fastball, Michael. He's got a quick little bat. The better hitter than advertised. We all knew about his defensive skills. But he's certainly handled himself very well up here and swung the bat much better than anybody thought he would on this level.
Brett Gardner. And a strike. Gardner walked and scored in that 5th inning, and the Yankees took the lead, broke a 1-1 game into a 3-1 game. But then Vernon Wells home run at the top of this inning made it 3-2. That's where we stand right now. There goes, pitches up and in, and he throws second, is in time. So Chavez guns down his catching counterpart with a second out.
A bit of a surprise move. Cervelli takes off. He's got a good jump. Talent's quick to home with a slide step. Very close. Bang, bang, but the ball beat the runner once again. Time to throw beats the runner. Good tag by Scudero. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get the out call.
Popped up. Overbay makes the play, and that'll do it here in the 6th. No runs a hit, no errors because of the caught stealing. Nobody left on base. We go to the 7th. It's 3-2 Yanks. Nice afternoon game. A lot of kids in the ballpark. Top of the 7th inning, 3-2 Yankees. And A.J. Burnett deals high to David DeLucci, 1-0. Burnett is closing in on 100 pitches. He's at 96. Phil Hughes beginning to throw. Popped up. Alex Rodriguez leans in and can't make the play. It was in his glove and dropped out.
You see A-Rod gets over there, gets his hand on the rail. Looks like it hits him right in the heel of the glove. A little ricochet off the heel of the glove. Instead of getting it quite in the pocket, reaching.
And A.J. bailed him out as he gets DeLucci to swing through. 7th strikeout. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by J&R Music and Computer World, then by Toyota. the official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. '26 World Championships for this New York Yankee franchise. Last one in 2000. One out here in the 7th inning. Here's Raul Chavez. There's a strike. That breaking ball's been nasty. Burnett has now struck out at least 7 in 8 of his last 9 starts. 100 pitches for Burnett, 64 strikes. And the 0-1. 1-1. Two and one. And the pitch. Popped up. Shallow right. Swisher is there. And there are 2 outs. 7 strikeouts for A.J. Burnett. Let's look at them.
We came out with a little bit of extra today. See that running fastball, 97. Once again, 96 early in the game. He had some heat working. Now we're going to break out the breaking ball. That knuckle curve down and away. He's got 1 for a strike, 1 he can throw back door, and 1 down. Gets another strikeout. Nice day for strikeouts by A.J. Burnett by establishing that fastball early in the game. Came out smoking the first couple of innings.
Back to the top of the lineup, and Marco Scutaro with 2 outs, nobody on. Yankees up 3-2. Foul away.
According to Major League MLB.com, as you see Phil Koch now joining Hughes, according to MLB.com, A.J. Burnett has averaged 94.2 on his fastball all year long. He came out today in the first and second inning, almost averaging 96, 97 miles an hour on his fastball. Clearly felt strong today, had a little extra on his fastball, especially early in the game.
Count 1-1 on Scutaro. Scutaro's 1 for 3. Marco's bounced around in baseball, played a lot of positions, and finally he has claimed the shortstop position here in Toronto as his own. Brian Butterfield was telling me, you could talk about any other shortstop in baseball. He said Marco Scutaro is as good as any of them. He said he has more chances than any shortstop, so that means he's getting to a lot of balls. He's got great range. And Butterfield was just raving about Scutaro at short.
Finally getting a chance to play every day. You know, after bouncing around in his career. And kind of a utility guy, can play a lot of different positions as well.
And that's what I asked Butterfield. I said, well, if he's so good, how come he's never gotten a chance? There's a lot of guys. He said, look at, Mark McLemore. He finally got a chance and became an everyday player. He said it happens. Melvin Mora, he was a utility guy. Finally got a chance, became an everyday player, and does a good job. So this is Scutaro's chance, and he's grabbed it.
Scutaro was a teammate of mine with the Mets in 2003, my last year, Michael. And when I was in spring training with Scutaro, everybody just loved this guy. He said, you got to watch this guy pick it. He could play some defense. He always had good bat control and could handle the bat. We just couldn't get anybody to give him a chance to get 500-600 at-bats. That's going to change this year.
Slow roller toward third. A-Rod fields and has no play. Infield single for Scutaro.
A.J. Burnett with that knuckle curve grip. Scutaro way out in front, but gets out of the box quickly. That ball's just going to die right down the line. See A-Rod go right over the bag and pick it up, but Scutaro's motoring down the line. A-Rod got to avoid that bag and can't quite get the handle. thinks twice of go ahead and eat it.
Now Cervelli's on the mound for a while. You wonder if that's just stalling. I would think that Hughes and Koch have had plenty of time.
Left-handed hitting Adam leaned on deck, who's shown some power this year and hit .311. We're going to choose to let Burnett face the right-handed hitting Hill, who also has got popped this year with 19 home runs.
Pitch is high.
Get the feeling this is probably A.J. Burnett's last hitter one way or another here with Aaron Hill.
Whoa. That can't be too fun. Dave Allen wants to talk with A.J. Burnett.
You can see Cervelli setting up down and away. And when you miss that by that much, that's a classic sign of just kind of getting a little fatigued. Your body flies out in front of you, and you know what we talked about before, Michael. Anytime you miss like that up and in, and you're trying to go down and away, that's a classic sign of flying open with your front shoulder, your lead shoulder.
And when you're flying open, it's because you're tired sometimes and you're trying to generate a lot of power, so you just open the body up. Right?
Possibly, yeah. There's a few different reasons that would cause that, but obviously A.J. Burnett now with this 111th pitch there, maybe a little sign of fatigue, even though he's still got his velocity.
Popped up. Cervelli tosses away the mask and called off by A-Rod, who makes the play. So a strong 7 for A.J. Burnett. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base at the end of 6.5. It's time for the 7th inning stretch. Yankees lead the Blue Jays 3-2, but we'll keep it right here in the Bronx as we honor America.
We remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the globe. Now please join Kate Smith as she sings God Bless America.
To the
We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. A tight ball game as the Yankees lead this one 3-2. Brian Talent finally out of the game, and they bring in hard-throwing right-hander Jeremy Accardo. So Cito Gaston makes the call to the bullpen. Brought to you by AT&T. Your world delivered.
Those are the numbers on Jeremy Accardo, former San Francisco Giant, rather. He didn't pitch that long ago, back when the Giants were still in New York, but broke in 05 with the San Francisco Giants, came over to the Blue Jays in 06. Got a good fastball.
So Brian Talent cannot win this game. He can only lose. And the pitch to Jeter is a strike. Derek extended his hitting streak to 9 straight with a single right in the 3rd. And a strike. So A.J. Burnett has had another good performance. Probably not going to pitch the 8th inning. Pitch count is up there. For AJ. Now we'll see, David, according to how this inning plays out, who's your 8th inning guy? Is it Phil Hughes? Is it Brian Bruni? Will he match up? Phil Coke was up. Right now, there's nobody up in the Yankee bullpen. The 0-2.
Certainly, Girardi's got some options. 2 of the first 3 batters due up are left-handed. Adam Lind leading off, and then 2 hitters later, Lyle Overbay. So 2 out of the 3 coming up in the 8th are left-handed. So got Lind, Rowland, a hot right-handed hitter, and then Overbay, and then Wells and Rios, both right-handed batters. Yankees, on the other hand, in the bottom of the 7th here at the top of their order, trying to get on base.
And they do. Base hit for Jeter. Jeter's 29th multi-hit game of the year. Live Yankee games at the beach. Live Yankee games at the office. Now you'll never miss a live Yes Network Yankees game again. Starting July 8th, Bronx Bomber fans will be able to watch live Yes Network Yankees games on their personal computers and laptops. If you're an Optimum Online and IOTV customer, go to yesnetwork.com to get more information and sign up for your subscription now. 5/11/09, so May 11th, that bat became the property of Mark Teixeira. He's on deck. The Yankees play for 1 run here with Damon Bunt. Yankees have the lead, and their bullpen's all set up. How will Girardi play?
Scott Rowland at third base, playing in on the grass.
Broken back, looper into center field, and it's going to be caught by Scudero. And Jeter is going to be doubled up. A rare misread by Derek Jeter. He thought for sure that that ball was going to drop in. So that's a 6-4-3 double play. Derek usually an unerring base runner, and that one he just read wrong.
Well, you mentioned it with Brian Butterfield, the coach of the Blue Jays, talked about Scudero's range, and he covered a lot of ground. And you're right, Michael, you just don't see Derek Jeter with this kind of a read very often. When he tries to make a quick read, it's aggressive. He thinks he's going to get there and get around to third in a hurry. And at that point, Scudero's got him nailed dead to rights.
Here's Teixeira. Boy, that's so odd to see.
You just don't see that happen. But I tell you what, Scutaro made a heck of a play. You know why his name's Scutaro? He just scoots. He got out there in a hurry and made a really nice play. That ball looked like a base hit for sure. Full swing into the bat. And watch Scutaro. He's already full speed. Great jump. Little flip back to second baseman Aaron Hill, and at that point, Jeter knows no chance to get back.
Shattered bat. The bat ends up in right field. The ball bangs up against the fence in front of the Yankee dugout. Now, one thing about that play, David, I would agree that was a nice play. But it wasn't a circus, unbelievable, eye-popping catch that you would think that Jeter would read it so wrong.
Yeah, I'm sure if you talk to, it's a great point, Michael. I'm sure if you talk to Derek Jeter after the game, he will take responsibility for that read.
And he was being aggressive because, as you said, he wanted to go to third. Phil Koch is up in the Yankee bullpen. So with the two lefties coming up, that's the way that Girardi's going to go. Hot shot and knocked down there by Hill, and he will fire to first. So a good defensive inning for the Toronto Blue Jays, and they took a base hit away from Teixeira. No runs a hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. Let's take it to the eighth. 3-2 Yanks.
Right off the bat, off the plexiglass. Little ricochet job for the Yankee bullpen. Robinson Cano, a no doubter for the Land Rover drive of the game.
Well, A.J. Burnett is done, and now they turn to Phil Koch. Those are his numbers. In the last 15 games, though, 13 and a third innings pitched, 15 strikeouts, 5 hits, 1 run, 3 walks. Burnett went 7 innings. And Adam Lynn fouls it away. A little bit of a trap here. Although Koch is good against righties, you've got the lefty-righty-lefty situation. So you're bringing in Koch to get Lynn, but then you have the righty Rowland, who with one swing could tie the game. But they consider Lynn more dangerous with his 16 home runs.
See Phil Hughes backing up Phil Koch. Phil Koch this year against left-handed batters. In 64 at-bats, they're hitting 188 off of them, although they do have 4 home runs.
Strike.
Good-looking slider there from Koch. Pretty much the same, although ironically, of his 5 home runs, 4 of them have come against left-handed batters.
High fly ball left field. Johnny Damon makes the play. Run away. Well, fans, today and throughout the Yankee season on Yes, we're allowing you to vote along with the 2 of us here in the booth for the Chevy Player of the Game. Text your vote with 58772. Today's candidates are number 1, A.J. Burnett, number 2, Robinson Cano, number 3, Vernon Wells, and number 4, Brian Talent. Vote now and make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. How about this? So Joe Girardi wanted to get out the 16 home run left-hander Adam Lind. That's what Koch does. So now Girardi is going to signal to Phil Hughes to deal with Scott Rowland, and he'll take his chances with Lyle Overbay after that, as he's used his only left-hander. So Hughes comes in. Hughes Rowland in just a moment. Car insurance, it just happened.
Well, it did just happen, and Marco Scutaro off the bat of Johnny Damon scoots out, makes an over-the-shoulder grab. Made it look easy. Derek Jeter uncharacteristically caught off guard. That is the Geico play of the game, a double play initiated by Marco Scutaro.
So Phil Hughes, who's been so lights out in the bullpen, those are his numbers starting and relieving. 47 strikeouts and 47 2/3. Now, as a reliever, 13 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 runs, 16 strikeouts, and he's allowed 1 home run in 8 appearances. So he has been really, really solid. Here's Scott Rowland. And there's a strike. 95-mile-an-hour fastball for Phil Hughes as the Yankee bullpen tries to protect a 1-run lead. And the 0-1. Another good fastball on the outside corner, 0-2. He's a different pitcher out of the pen.
Well, that's been the trend. As you see Scott Rowland talking to John Hirschbeck, making sure that ball's on the outside corner. Phil Hughes super aggressive out of the pen. He's been strike one just about every appearance on every batter he's faced since becoming a reliever. Ultra aggressive. Now he can go anywhere he wants.
And the 0-2. Served into right field. It's a base hit for Rowland. And that extends his hitting streak to 20 straight. Hughes kept working him away, and then Rowland said, okay, I'll go that way.
Well, you're getting the call, and you can see, boy, it's right there, 0-2. Scott Rowland, after 2 straight fastballs away, decides to go out and cover that pitch. 3 straight pitches in the same location, all of them good pitches. Scott Rowland gets the best of Phil Hughes right there on an 0-2 pitch.
So here's Lyle Overbay. He has 9 home runs. He's 1 for 3 today. That double in the 4th inning went to left center field. He scored 1 of the 2 runs for the Jays, and that one's fouled away.
Excellent pitch right there. Phil Hughes jumped ahead 0-1, just missed with a curveball down, doubles up. Give Overbay a different look in the speed variance. Now Phil Hughes throwing mid-90s with his fastball. This is a curveball at 76 miles an hour, and you can see that Overbay's just way out in front of it. He cannot wait back. 20-mile-an-hour speed variance from fastball to curveball.
One, two. Fouled that. Mariano begins to throw. Maybe the Yankees will use him if they need a 4 outside to save today. Worked 2 games in the Seattle series. Didn't work last night. Yankees lost last night 8-4 to snap their 7-game winning streak.
Phil Hughes and Francisco Cervelli trying to get on the same page. Hughes shook him off a couple of different times right there on a 1-2 pitch. Went fastball, couple breaking balls and fastball. Let's see what Hughes wants to do right here.
Count 2-2. Yankees lead 3-2, each team with 7 hits. Neither team has committed an error. Good starting outings by Talent and by Burnett. The 2-2. Fouls off another breaking ball. Dangerous that Overbay is fouling off these good pitches, kind of spoiling them. Waiting for Hughes to make a mistake.
Cervelli back out for a second meeting, trying to be on the same page here. They want to know what they want to do here. We've seen Phil Hughes be able to command both sides of the plate with that mid-90s fastball. We've seen him go away in these situations with that good four-seam fastball down and away to lefties. Saw him strike out Ken Griffey Jr. the other night in Seattle.
2-2. Slow roller up the first baseline. And did Hughes make the tag? Yes, he did for the second out as Roller moves into scoring position.
Hughes with another curveball and a good play to get over there. And a good, tell you what, a good sell job too. We didn't really see an umpire make a call. Looked like he got him right there on the hip pocket. But Hughes sells it. Close. I don't know, but I tell you what, that's what you do. You hold the glove up and sell it to the umpires. The umpires bought.
Well, so Overbay didn't argue at all, so he knows best if he was touched.
Right there.
Right there.
Right on the belt, on the side.
Here's Vernon Wells, has always hurt the Yankees, tying run at second. Fouled away, right side, and out of play.
0-2 fastball from A.J. Burnett, one of the few mistakes he made all day. And Vernon Wells launches it.
Good fastball, 96 miles an hour. 0-2.
You know, the impressive part here, Michael, is Phil Hughes. Not only has his velocity gone up as a reliever, but he throws quality strikes as well. We've seen him all over the black outside with right-handed batters and vice versa, the other side of the plate. He's got excellent control. Not only does he throw hard, he throws quality strikes.
The 0-2. Upstairs, wasted that one.
This is the point where if you're in the dugout, Michael, you're yelling at the catcher going, get a walkie-talkie. And this is the third visit from the inning. It's a big point in the game, certainly understandable. Young catcher, young pitcher.
Remember, after the final out, WB Mason post-game show, it's an Emmy Award-winning show. All the highlights, game analysis from Bob Lorenz in the studio, plus Kimberly Jones. Talk to the players in the clubhouse. It's the WB Mason postgame. Only on yes. A 1-2 upstairs. 2-2.
Phil Hughes is a starter. According to MLB.com, averaged about 92 miles an hour on his fastball. And as a reliever, he's up to 95.2 miles an hour on his fastball in his last 7 outings.
Rolling at second. First game of a 4-game wraparound series. All afternoon affairs here at the stadium. And the 2-2. Grounded softly towards second. Cano to Teixeira. And Hughes comes on and does the job in the 8th as he gets the dangerous Vernon Wells to make the final out. No runs are hit, no errors, 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 3-2 Yanks. Blue Jays. Complete coverage begins at 12 with batting practice today presented by Audi. And then the pregame, it's the Blue Jays, it's the Yankees, it's Chin-Ming Wang against Roy Halladay. Tomorrow starting at noon only on Yes. And Alex Rodriguez leads off, and the pitch is high, 1-0. 3-2, Yankees holding on here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Driven deep to right field. Going back, Rios looking up. See ya! Opposite field home run, Alex Rodriguez. And the Yankees are up by 2. David, the Yankees are just waiting for him to zero in on that spot in the stadium.
Yeah, he gets a 1-0 slider. Not a bad pitch. Down and away. Cardo hits the glove. A-Rod hits the seat. Came in 0 for 2 on that at bat with 1 walk. Now he's 1 for 3 with a homer.
14th home run of the year, 42nd ribby. He's now homered in 5 of his last 8 games. So Alex Rodriguez missed 28 games, but his numbers are up there with some of the leaders, some of the power categories. So Accardo departs, Jesse Carlson will come on, and the Yankees lead 4-2. manager sits down to talk about this week's homestand against the Mariners and the Blue Jays with a look ahead to next week. It's an all-new Joe Girardi Show Sunday at 5, only on Yes. Joe Girardi's looking ahead to the 9th inning, and he'd like some more runs as Robinson Cano digs in against Jesse Carlson. Now, the home run by A-Rod is 222nd as a Yankee. Significant. It ties him for 9th place on the Yankees all-time list with the captain, Donald Arthur Mattingly. And there's a strike. Those are Carlson's numbers. 40 hits in 36 and the third innings. Nub foul.
Carlson, kind of a specialty reliever, kind of a crossfire guy, tough on left-handed batters. The look would seem to be tough on left-handed batters, kind of a crossfire, kind of a slinging type action.
Shattered bat and a ground ball to Scudero. And there's one away.
Although coming into this game, Carlson did get out Cano right there, a left-handed batter, but lefties were hitting 296 off of him this year, and that's his job. And if you're a lefty that's a specialty guy coming out of the pen, you better do a better job of getting lefties out. And he certainly made a good pitch there on Cano.
Here's Nick Swisher. He is 0 for 3. Nick 8 for his last 38. Grounded to third. Fly ball to center and a strikeout looking. Pitch outside. And the count 2-0.
Swisher comes in 0 for 3 on the day. 1 strikeout. Trying to get one of his patented walks mixed into the mix here. Swisher's been known for such a good eye and getting deep counts.
3-1 and another full count. 70 full counts this year for Nick Swisher. And the pitch. Right back to Carlson. He went down to one knee. 2 outs.
This is low. Carlson with that crossfire falls off the mound and a 1 hopper. A little self-defense. Carlson steps across his body, flies off of that mound. Ball's probably up the middle if it gets by him.
Pitch to Matsui, jumps out of the way. Hideki 1 for 3, single to right center, then 2 ground balls to second. Lifetime against Carlson, Matsui 1 for 2. 1 was a home run.
I think at this point in the year, Michael, we talked about Hideki Matsui in spring training possibly being able to play the outfield in the second half. You almost get the sense the Yankees have given up on that at this point, even though maybe Joe Girardi would say they haven't, but I think this guy's going to be your DH, and we need the production out of him because you've got other options at DH too in the Yankee lineup. But if Matsui can be productive and hit home runs, then he certainly solidifies that DH spot. But I do not expect him to play outfield this year.
David, I think you're right. If he could play the outfield, then he would have played one of the 9 games in the National League Cities. His legs can't hold up. Here's Francisco Cervelli. Hot shot to short. And Scudero goes the short way, and that's going to do it here in the 8th. But the Yankees had a run on Alex Rodriguez's solo shot, and it's Mariano's turn in the 9th. Player of the game is voted on by you, the fans, and the 2 of us here in the booth.
Well, it is A.J. Burnett. He came out smoking, averaging about 96 miles an hour with his fastball early, broke out that knuckle curve a little later, and he got some swing and misses with that and called 3rd strikes. A.J. Burnett, 7 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, 6 hits, and 2 earned runs. The Chevy player of the game.
Well, Mariano Rivera will try to close it out. He's been very good of late. He has 20 saves, 2.76 ERA, 40 strikeouts in 32 and 2/3 innings. So he has a whip under 1, 28 hits and 3 walks. So that's 31 base runners in 32 and 2/3 innings. Now, one quick note about Alex Rodriguez. He hits that home run to give the Yankees a little breathing room. And the knock on Alex has always been, well, he hits home runs that don't really mean much. A lot of them, they're tack-on runs or in blowout games. He has 14 home runs this year. 12 of them have come when the run difference between the Yankees and their opponent was within 2. So all of those home runs are pretty big. There's a strike to Alex Rios.
Including the first one he hit this year on the first pitch he saw in Baltimore off of Jeremy Guthrie, a 96-mile-an-hour fastball on the inside corner.
And David, if he zeroes in on right field, he's going to hit a boatload of home runs here. And that's where his power is anyway. That's where he hits a lot of his home runs. Rios trying to get on base to start it off. He's 1 for 3. The 1-1. Strike. We always say Mariano's done it with 1 pitch, but he has changed the way he's pitched, David. When he first developed the cutter, he didn't throw that pitch on the inside corner.
No, he didn't. He commanded just the outside corner to righties and inside to lefties, but over the years, progressively, he's gotten better and better to working both sides of the plate.
Swung on and missed. There's the vintage cutter away. 1 down.
And this is what he does when he gets in strikeout situations. A little more break to that cutter, almost slider-like there. The little side-to-side and downward tilt. A great finish pitch from Mo Rivera.
That'll bring up Dave DeLucci. 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch. He walked and he struck out in the 7th. That one is looped into right center field, and Gardner on the run makes the play. Remember, after the final out here against the Blue Jays, don't miss the Emmy Award-winning W.B. Mason postgame. You get a complete analysis of this game and highlights from around the majors from Bob Lorenz in the studio. Plus, Kimberly Jones will talk to the players in the clubhouse. It's the W.B. Mason postgame only on Yes. Gardner got a good jump and made it fairly easily. Just one quick note, Melky Cabrera's taken over for Nick Swisher in right. Here's Raul Chavez, last hope for the Jays. Shows bunt, takes a cutter strike on the outside corner. The 0-1. One strike away.
See Cervelli setting up down and away. That ball cuts just off the plate. John Hirschbeck umpiring, and they got the mask on for Mo Rivera. A little respect. Mariano Rivera's going to get that call.
And the 0-2. Not getting that one. Push the envelope. The count 1-2.
Just in case you were wondering, there's the count.
The veteran sets and delivers. Alex Rodriguez took 3 steps toward the mound. He thought that was strike 3.
Very close. John Hirschbeck sees it coming around the plate.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Top of the 9th, Yankees up by 2. And the pitch. Spoiled. Fouled away. Rivera looking for his 21st save of the year. And the 2-2. Strike 3, ball game's over. Yankees win 4-2. Rivera with a perfect 9th inning. A strikeout, a fly ball to center, and a strikeout. And that completes an efficient 4-pitcher outing by the Yankees. And the final pitcher was Mariano Rivera, and he gets the inside corner for strike 3. And these